Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Ride Mechanic channel. How the heck are you doing today? On today's video, I just wanted to go over real quick. Basically, it's amusement park trip planning, like 101. This is what we need to do. So I'm heading out to the park myself tomorrow, and I was just getting everything ready today. And a long time ago, I made a guest 101 video, and I basically kind of wanted to redo it and update it a little bit with some newer things that I have along the way. So basically what I'm going to be looking at in this video is it's pretty much from the ground up planning on getting to the park. So let's get into it.
Now get ready. Here we go.
All right, first of all, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know if you have anything extra you want to add to the video. I tend to over plan and overthink things at the same time because I like things to go off smooth. I like them to go off without a hitch. So let's start with the planning of the trip. First of all, from the amusement park point of view, I can't tell you how many times I've been working towards the front of the park on a day that the park is closed, and guests come up and they say, "When's the park opening?" And it's like noon. And I had to look at him and say, "Sorry, the park isn't open today, right? The moose out front should have told you, sorry, but park's not open today." And they're like, "It says it is on your calendar." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't. You looked at the wrong date." It happens, I know, but there's months like June and July. You could click on July's when you actually should be looking at June's. There's little things like that in there. But so the first thing you do is go through and verify that the day you are going to the park is open that day. Now, after COVID and everything else these days, we tend to have to go and pick a day to arrive at the park if you're buying single day passes and things like that. But season passes, you don't really have to do that. So definitely make sure that the park is open on the day that you're going to it. The next thing I like to do is look around the area. Look at the city you're going to. Look at the route and the ways you're going there. I like to know, is there anything special going on in the area? Why do I want to know if there's anything special going on in the area? Because it can impact your park visit. If you say, "Hey, let's go to the park this weekend," and then you find out there's some sort of massive event happening nearby, guess what? The attendance is going to be way up at the park. Great for the park, they're going to make more money that day. Bad if you just want to go and just grab a few quick rides and stuff like that, then that park is going to be really busy that day, and it might be something that you might not want to go there on that day. The other thing I like to do is, for myself, I'm taking about a 3-hour drive tomorrow, and I like to know the route that I'm going. I like to see where I'm going, and I like to know the names and or numbers of the freeways that I'm traveling on, just in case the phone runs into sketchy satellite service, right? I've done that before. I've gone down a road, and I was relying on my phone for navigation, and the phone said, "Okay, you're going to go straight on this road for like 5 miles and then turn right on this other road." Okay, so I'm driving and I'm driving, and next thing I know, it's been like 15 minutes have passed, and I'm like, that is way more than 5 miles. And then I had to pull over, and I like turned the satellite off and on the phone. I was waiting for it. It finally updated, and I way overshot my exit. But it was stuck in a little update loop. So I like to know where I'm going, what the numbers are, pre-plan ahead. The next thing is I plan on bringing my phone. I maybe might do a video update or take some pictures tomorrow. So I needed to look at the website and find out what they allowed inside the park. Now, for a lot of people watching these videos and doing stuff, they plan on going to the park, plan on taking pictures, plan on doing videos, all that sort of stuff. Go ahead, go to the park's website and look at what they allow and what they don't allow. For instance, the park where I'm going tomorrow does not allow things like video recording on rides. Perfectly fine. I'm not the one to do that sort of stuff. There's tons of channels out there that record the ride experience. I don't do that. But that was like even like a chest mounted GoPro, like a harnessed GoPro in the center, which is it's not coming off and it can't be undone. Even they're like, nope, those aren't allowed, and you can't do anything. So I did have a question, which was I plan on bringing my backpack tomorrow because I want to put stuff in there. And so the question became, well, do they allow backpacks? So I had to go through like guest code of conduct, stuff like that. And I had to look into it and I say, well, yes, backpacks are allowed in. That's great. Selfie sticks are allowed in, but they're not on rides at any point in time, which that's fine. I don't need to do a selfie stick on a ride. That goes back to the hey, no video recording on a ride. The two kind of overlap there. But I wanted to know, and it did say on there, it's like, what do I do with my backpack? Where I used to work for a solid year, one season, the park cracked down super hard and they said absolutely nothing can go on the ride with you. But they weren't like I've seen like Top Thrills 2 and stuff where they were like checking pockets and like going through metal detectors. They weren't like that, but they were saying nothing can go through the ride with you, but nothing can wait on the platform either. And that threw a lot of people off because, like me, I want to bring my backpack. And then, so what I plan on doing is that when I get on the ride, I'm going with my son. So it's either myself or my son. One of us will just go over and set the backpack down next to the ride vehicle out over their way, and we'll go on the ride. So I wanted to verify that was okay, and it actually said right on their instructions, yes, that's okay. You can put your stuff in a bag and set it off to the side while you're on the ride. That is fine. With everything had the little caveat on there that they would not be held responsible for lost or stolen articles, which is completely understandable. Those people that are up there are doing one job, and that is to run that ride safely. They are not there to look after your bags or your stuff that you left over there. So if I get off that ride and my bag is gone, that's all on me. I can't do anything about it. That I can't go to the ride operators and say they weren't watching my bag. That is not their job to do. um, I can file a thing with security. Chances are, just like an airport, chances are somebody else got off that ride with a similar looking bag and they actually picked up your stuff by mistake. So if you're taking a backpack with you, and if it's a pretty vague looking backpack, like a black JanSport or something where there's thousands and thousands of meter, you might want to do something to make yours stand out. Try to identify it some way. That way you have, you know, something you could find as soon as you get off the ride. Okay, so that's getting there. The night before, which is tonight, you want to make sure that you go to bed early and get a good night's sleep. That is one of the key things. The next day at the amusement park is rough on your body, and the older you get, the rougher it gets. When you're a young kid and you're out there doing stuff, like you could pretty much bounce back from anything, but the older you get, the more recovery you need. So I have a 3-hour drive heading down there, and then after a full day at the amusement park, I've got a 3-hour drive heading back home. So I have to prepare for that. So how am I preparing for that? Well, good night's sleep. That's the number one thing. Sleep is extremely important. Number two is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. The sun's going to be out. It's 91 degrees and muggy. So it's like, oh, so we're going to hydrate. Tonight I'm drinking a lot of water, a lot of water. And then tomorrow I'm also going to continue to drink water. Here's what I'm doing. I'm packing a cooler and putting it in my vehicle. So tomorrow morning when I get up, I'm packing my cooler with a couple of drinks. Um, people are going to be like, why is it unfortunate? I unfortunately like the Monster Energy drinks. No, I'm not getting sponsored by them. No, I'm still not getting sponsored by them. Uh, I like those things, and I understand they are absolutely horrible when it comes to hydration. They taste great. They taste sweet. I love the taste of them. They are super horrible. An average rule of thumb is that you should be drinking, if for every like one of those energy drinks I drink, I should be drinking at least 3 bottles of water afterwards. Remember, caffeine, soda, energy drinks, all that stuff, they dehydrate you no matter what it is. They dehydrate you, they don't hydrate you. So when you drink those, you have to make up and drink extra water on top of that. So in the morning time, I am packing a couple of those drinks and I'm packing a bunch of water. I am going to load them up with ice. I have put 4 bottles of water in the freezer. So they will be frozen. So they will stay frozen the entire day until the afternoon, evening time, which they should start to thaw. And that is for later on. Now, I'm also bringing a lot of snacks with me. I'm bringing lots of stuff that I could eat. I'm bringing some protein shakes and things like that. There's 2 reasons for this. One, it's a long car drive to and from, and I want something there in case I get hungry. 2, in case the park is super jam-packed busy and the line for all the food and everything else is an hour long and I just dying of thirst, I want the option. I at least want the option to be able to walk out of the park and go get a water. I at least want that option. Yeah, that's really out of the way for a lot of people. I agree. It's not a great thing to leave the park. You could rent a locker up close to the park. They do have those if you want to put your drinks and stuff like that in there. But you can definitely do that. But I at least want the option to be able to go get a water that I know that I don't have to pay for. I know it's going to be cold. I know it's going to be sealed, and I know where it is. If everything's getting to be too much, whether it be temperature, anxiety, or anything like that, I want the ability to go back out to my vehicle, start the engine up, and sit there in a nice, cool vehicle because I got sunshades up where I could block out the sun. Just sit there in a nice, cool vehicle and drink water and just cool back down before I go back into the park. Heck, at that point in time, it might be worthwhile just to go take a break and drive out. If the park allows return admission on the parking, it's one thing you'll want to check. Say, if you plan on driving out, make sure they allow you to come back in. Otherwise, you might have to pay for parking twice, and nobody wants to do that. So that's kind of pre-prep the night before. So let's talk about clothing. Clothing should be lightweight, it should be light in color, and it should be breathable, kind of loose around you. I have like I just got some of my merch shirts and stuff like that, and I ordered larges. Honestly, I should have ordered extra larges, but because the fabric is thick and it was snug on me, I'm like, I'm not going to wear that to the park. Fine for making videos. I have no problem with wearing them while I make videos, but I wasn't going to wear that to the park because I was just like, nope, that is going to be sweaty and uncomfortable if I wear that the entire day. So I'm gonna have to order the next size up, unfortunately. But it's like your clothing should be light in color. It should not be black because black attracts all the light and it gets super hot super fast. It should be light, a white, a light color, a cream, a light gray, something along those lines. And it should be a little loose fitting. Pants are always a question mark when it comes to that. Tons of people always wear shorts to amusement parks. I can't fault people for that. I'm not a shorts type of person. I pretty much wear pants all the time. Like, no matter what, I wear pants. One thing I love, but I honestly don't have any right now because I've just replaced a lot, is cargo pants, like cargo shorts, cargo pants where you can zip pockets shut. Those are the best because I know when I put my wallet and my phone in those things, they are not coming out. And that is an extra peace of mind for me because anyone who's worked on rides knows it's like the phone goes in your pocket and then you sit down and that puts your body at a perfect little angle. And then a lot of times, if those pants don't fit tight, if they're not snug at all when you sit down, that phone vibrates and it comes right back out of your pocket on the lift hill. Yes, the majority of phones on rides are lost on the lift hill because you're at that perfect angle where the phone is facing almost straight down at that point, and it's very slow and just slightly jiggling. And that allows everything to just start to move out, 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 and then it just falls out on the lift hill. So that's where a lot of phones are lost. All right, so that's clothing. Um, let's talk about a big floppy hat. Yes, yes, right? This is my look. People are like, Nebraska, it's like, go big red, right? I live in Nebraska. I have to say that. Otherwise, I don't know, I might get shot or something. Go big red. Um, but I wear, like, when I do work outside in the yard and stuff, I wear a big floppy hat to cover up from the sun. The sun, in this case, is the worst enemy. You want to wear a floppy hat. You want to have sunglasses. You want to lather yourself up with sunscreen. And remember, read your directions on it. You have to reapply this every 3 to 4 hours, depending on how sweaty you're getting, if you're wet, all that other stuff. So take precautions against the sun. Trust me, I come from a family where skin cancer has been found and cancer runs in the family. So I am protecting myself to make sure that I don't go down that road, or at least try to prevent it, right? So protect yourself from the sun. That also helps you stay hydrated throughout the day. When it comes to walking around amusement park all day and you might not feel great, it might not be a good thing you start feeling. When we went to Six Flags Great America, we rode a wooden roller coaster and my son started getting a headache after that and kind of killed the rest of the evening, which I didn't have a problem with. I wasn't upset about or anything like that. But it was one of those things that you learn, like if you bring a backpack, especially, bring a little plastic bag with you, a little Ziploc snack bag. And inside this bag, I've got a bunch of ibuprofen loaded up inside there. And I've also got a couple of Benadryl loaded up. Number one thing people get at amusement parks are headaches. That's the number one thing people get is headaches, maybe some muscle aches, but that's kind of rare, but more headache than anything else. And sometimes allergies because you're in a new area, you're exposed to new things that you maybe not around all the time. So Benadryl, ibuprofen, take medicine that you know how you react to it and you know what it does to your body. Again, hydration is key. Always hydrate. At any point in time during the day, if you're sweating like crazy and you're not hydrating properly, and then you stop sweating, that's a big red flag right there. You need to find shade, and you might even need to call the park paramedics over there, because when you stop sweating on a really hot day, when you've been sweating all day, that typically means that you're super dehydrated and you're probably on the edge of heat stroke. So that's not a good thing. Know the signs of heat stroke and know when to get help. Okay, so I've spent all day in the park and I'm ready to come back home at that point in time. I go get in my vehicle, and now what am I looking for when I get in my vehicle? All right, the first thing is all that ice cold water and maybe an energy drink that I set aside. I'm looking for all of that because the first thing your body needs after that, I don't care who you are, is you need water. Like, so get more water. The more water, the better off you are. The next thing I'm looking for, and you need to remember to bring it, is a charging cord typically, because I will use my phone again for navigation to drive back home. So a lot of times your phone might be either close to dead or dead. So make sure you have a charging cable somewhere in your vehicle. That way you could plug your phone back in and get the directions for the way home, which is very critical. Also, in your backpack or in your bag or even in your pocket, you should have just another Ziploc bag. And there is one thing this bag is for that a lot of people don't think about, but they start cursing it when they ride rides sometimes, and that's this. When I go to the park, I have my phone on me, right? Carry it with me, I do everything with it. This one also happens to be my wallet as well. But if you're the type of person that likes to go on water rides, you ever been on a rapids ride and when that big wall of water comes over and soaks you, and then your thought goes to, oh my gosh, my phone just got soaked. Maybe you don't have one of the cool phones that is like water resistant or waterproof. Maybe it's still something else that's susceptible to water. There you go. Go on your water rides. Have fun. All right. Another thing I wanted to talk about while we're on the subject of this stuff is a meetup. By that, I mean when you go to the park, you're going with typically friends, sometimes families, sometimes you have little kids with you. There's nothing more heartbreaking at an amusement park, and when you work there, you see it all the time. There's nothing really more heartbreaking than finding a kid that is lost, and it really tugs at your heartstrings pretty hard when you see the just look of panic, terror, anxiety on their face when they cannot find their parents. So if you have little kids, even if you're with a big group, technology fails, phones crap out, phones get lost on the ride, and you need to designate a meetup spot. Let's say you're out with people and full grown adults. It's like, okay, well, what do we do? Uh, just as it could be something so simple as just say, hey, right here at the main plaza way when we came in, maybe there's a big sign or something. Let's just say, hey, regardless of what happens, if we are all separated for some reason, whatever it may be, at the end of the night, because plan on staying there the whole day, at the end of the night, whatever time it is, if the park closes at 9 and say, okay, 9 o'clock, we are going to meet in this area. And then it doesn't matter if you lost your cell phones, if they got hit there in the water, they lost their charge a long time ago, or whatever it is. At 9 o'clock, everyone in your party will be there in that area, and you can all meet back up again. For little kids, you got to take some extra precautions with them. So you want to designate that meetup spot somewhere where they are going to remember. Again, here's the entrance to the park. We are going to meet up right here. So you might want to put a cap on that one and say, hey, not like an adult where you say like closing time, let's meet back here. You might want to tell that kid when you figure out that you're lost. If you figure out that you're separated and you don't know where we are and you stop and look for us for a second and we can't find where we are, that's when we're all going to go to that meetup spot because everyone's going to figure out everyone's gone at the same exact time, roughly. So everyone's going to go to that meetup spot and meet there. Little kids, tell them, say, find a park employee, someone with a name tag that works at that particular park. Find a security officer, find somebody that works at the park, and let them know that you are lost. And then they can do all sorts of other stuff. They can call people. But I mean, I've seen so many lost kids where they simply just didn't have a plan to meet up at all. The first question we always asked, they say, are you lost? And they say, yeah, we're lost. It's like, okay, when was the last time you saw your family or friends or whoever you're with? They were right over here like 5 minutes ago. It's like, okay, first thing we do is stop and we look around, say, look all around, look down there, look over there. Do you see them anywhere? Because sometimes they start crying and they just, they don't pay attention. So it's like, okay, no, I don't see them. The next question is, did you arrange a spot where you were going to meet in case you got lost? And then the answer almost always is no. No, they didn't. So it's like, okay, most parks, you take kids like that to guest relations somewhere around that area. That's typically where families meet up. And then guest relations can call people and they can make park announcements and stuff like that if they needed to. But it's an ounce of prevention. Please just, if you have little kids that you're traveling with, especially, just take that extra minute or two when you walk through that front gate to say, if we don't make it and we get separated, this is where we are going to meet. Okay, so when it comes to rides for the big day, like the day you go to the park, There are two rides that are really important, and they're both rides that you have 100% control over, and they are, in fact, the scariest rides and the most dangerous rides of the entire day. That is the ride to the park and from the park. So we have to do a PM on our vehicle. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Here we are at the scariest ride to and from the park, the first ride of the day and the last ride of the day. And this is the most dangerous part possible because everyone does the same thing. They run out and they go jump in their car, truck, whatever it may be, and they start rushing to the park. What have they done to check? Nothing. They've done nothing. So what do we need to do? It's like the bare minimum. Go around, check your oil level, check your fuel level, check your tires. When's the last time you checked your tires? Honestly, come on. When's the last time you actually checked your tires? Do you even know how to check your tires? Let's look at them real quick. This is the tire. This is the thing that glues your vehicle to the road. And if you have to avoid something, this is the thing that's going to allow you to do it. So these actually are one of the most critical things on your vehicle. So your tire should have tread all the way across your tire. It should be even. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look for these things called wear bars. Find them right there. See that little piece of rubber? It looks like a little step up in there. That is a wear bar. So what you're looking for is you're looking for a differential between the actual surface that touches the road and that wear bar. Mine right now is down about 4 millimeters. So from the top of that tire to the top of that wear bar is about 4 millimeters difference. That means I have 4 millimeters of tread left. So when that wear bar becomes even with this tire surface and I can rub my finger flat across there and I can't feel the difference between that wear bar and this tire tread, that means those tires need to be replaced. If the tire looks good here but is bald to the inside over here, yeah, that means that tire needs to be replaced. Like, this is the basic stuff. Like, everyone should know how to do this on a vehicle. They should know how to check their own brakes, oil, all that stuff. This is also one of the reasons why it's the most dangerous thing out there, because you can have somebody driving on bald tires down the highway right next to you, passing you at 85, 90 miles an hour, and they got no traction to the road. So always make sure you check your vehicle out before you go to the park. Make sure they got the right air pressure in the tires. Make sure tires have good rubber across them. Make sure the vehicle is in good condition. You don't have the bumpers falling off, your headlights, taillights work, all that sort of stuff, because that is one of the most important things. And if you don't check your vehicle, all this stuff, and do a 100-point inspection on your vehicle every time you drive it, then you've got no traction to say when the ride breaks down that the maintenance crew should be doing better. It's like, no, the maintenance crew inspects the rides hundreds, even thousands of points every single day before the park opens. You, however, have not inspected your car in a very long time. So you can't say that other people aren't doing a good job when you should be doing the exact same thing. Okay, so I walked around the vehicle, I checked a bunch of stuff. I got brakes are good, tires are good, tire pressure is good, oil level's good, fuel level's good, brake fluid level is good, coolant level's good. All right, so let's talk about some of the things not to do at the park while we're out here just casual conversation. Um, One of the things that people mess up on all the time is they underhydrate, obviously, and then they don't eat a proper amount of food either. So now they're on an empty stomach, underhydrated, and they sit in direct sunlight with no shade or cover to them whatsoever. And this ends up, people pass out. So that's a dangerous situation by itself, and it will ruin your day for sure. Might cost you a pretty penny for a hospital ride too. So no one likes to pass out. So definitely stay hydrated throughout the day. Footwear is a big issue at an amusement park. You want to choose footwear that's going to stay on your foot for a couple reasons. One, you're going to be putting in probably a 10-mile day, walking 10 miles. Think about that. What footwear would you want to walk 10 miles in? That's typically not flip flops. Like a lot of people do wear flip flops to the amusement park. But you also run into the problem when you run into a floorless roller coaster or a inverted roller coaster. Well, flip flops won't stay on. You'd be surprised how many people actually do wear flip flops on those rides and then they come off. That also goes the same for other shoes that slide on that have no sort of strap or anchoring. And I'm not talking about basic slide on shoes. I'm talking about like the one we found all the time at our floorless roller coaster was ballet flats. I don't know if they just thought they were going to stay on and they didn't, but we would find flip flops and ballet flats in the infield all the time. The other one, which is high heels.
Do you know how much walking you have to do at Disneyland? Why do you think they have so many fat people on scooters?
I like wearing the high heels, I'm fine.
Don't wear high heels to the amusement park. They may look good, you may like them, but think about it. 10 miles. Are you going to walk 10 miles in high heels? I know some people are like, yeah, I'm going to walk 10 miles in high heels. It's like, don't just try some regular tennis shoes, sneakers with preferably a good pair of socks on, and your day should go pretty good. Also, while you're prepping for the day, if you want to, add a change of clothes, everything, underwear, pants, socks, everything. Add a change of clothes to your vehicle as well. Because if you're like me sometimes and you get hit by a wall of water and you don't want to walk around the park wet, maybe it's starting to cool down in the evening time, you might actually want to go change. So, just in case, bring a change of clothes. Bring a bunch of extra stuff. If you're driving your own vehicle, I know a lot of people like, well, I'm traveling to this. It's like, yeah, a lot of this you can't do if you're traveling. Some of it you can, but some of it not. I mean, you bring your suitcase with you, and you've pretty much done the entire thing. Um, but if you're traveling in your own vehicle from your own house, apartment, whatever it is, it's like you will have the ability to do this stuff. Just do it while you can, and you won't have a problem from there on out. Okay, so it wasn't a super long video today. This is pretty much like a remake of my 101 video I did a while back. You can watch that too if you want to. Uh, but it's one of those things that we all visit the parks enough and we have these basic things that happen that we should all know. But a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people don't understand that you can go to almost any food place where they sell food and they sell soft drinks, and you could say, hey, can you just get me a cup of water? And now a lot of times they will try to sell you a bottle of water. It's like, oh yeah, here, the bottle of water, it's $4. And then but just say, no, I just want a cup of ice water. And they will, oh, okay. And a cup of ice water at almost every amusement park that I know of is free. It won't be a huge cup. It won't be a 30-ounce cup of ice water. It's going to be an 8-ounce cup. Now, if you've seen an 8-ounce cup, they are super tiny. It's like one of those little tiny cups you get in a waiting room. But they will give you pretty much an 8-ounce or maybe a 12-ounce cup of ice water, and that is free. Now, that is something you can do, but you will want to figure out how to get more water than that. So you can't just walk around the park saying, "Oh, I just want a free water, free water, free water." Not with the lines and stuff they have. I know I've gone through lines before, and I've been like, I want a bottle of water. They say, okay, one bottle of water. I'm like, no, give me 3 bottles of water. All right, so we'll call it quits for this video. If you want to email me, go ahead. My email is ryantherightemechanic@yahoo.com. You can always leave a comment down below. I look forward to that. And what else? Oh, yeah, stay off the air gates. Bye.